when Birokero was speaking, I actually thought about institutions, and I thought institutional failure is a major problem. He also talked about corruption. I take those two things at the same time. Because everywhere you see everybody talking about institutional failure, everybody talking about poverty and corruption, is an institutional failure problem. But we fail to look at it. We have to go back and ask ourselves, which institutions have failed us? And how do we solve it? Institutions have two key components, or maybe functions that I believe. I attribute them two functions which are very, very important. And one of them is to define and uphold the legal framework, that is, the rules of the game. And because I'm talking to majority of the lawyers here, they know exactly what the legal framework means. And the second thing is that they have to define appropriate incentives. In economics, we call them incentives, but in general, it's what we call the reward structure. A combination of rules of the game and appropriate incentives will encourage prudent behavior in the marketplace. Let's face it. When institutions fail, we suffer. When you talk about corruption, I always like dividing corruption into two components. And that is where we really need to zero in. One of them is, I used to joke about it one time. I remember the late Honorable Saitoti presented his book and talked about corruption. I actually argued that there are two forms of corruption. One of them is this bribery you see around in government offices, in traffic police and all that bribery. That is greasing efficiency. It's because we have allowed the reward structure in public service to go so low that somehow some people look at you and say, if you don't grease efficiency, I cannot be efficient. But the second one, which is more subtle, is that it is state capture. And we have to deal with it through the legal mechanism. But if you don't deal with them, they reinforce each other. Anyway, I'm not saying that we should continue with the greasing efficiency. No. I'm just saying
I was going to really get shocked coming from you.
No.
I thought you actually meant greasing inefficiency, but it's greasing efficiency. But please continue. We'll ask our question.
Thank you, Your Excellency. It is greasing efficiency, but it can be eradicated by increasing incentives. That's why I brought the issue of incentives. If the pay package is consistent with your effort, then obviously you don't need any efficiency. But the most important thing is that because of institutional failure, they